Whenever I sat down to write and nothing came out, I followed a predictable logic. I told myself I needed better ideas, a fresh topic, or a sudden burst of inspiration. I was certain my brain was simply empty. I would try to force it. I'd stare at the screen and demand my brain figure out what to post next. The effort of trying to manufacture a high-quality concept on command felt like trying to squeeze water from a stone. But after a particularly frustrating session, I realized I had the problem entirely backward. My ideas were showing up every day. I was just letting them slip away before I could ever write them down. I felt this most during weeks when I had a hard deadline. I knew I needed to publish, but the more I tried to sit still and think, the more paralyzed I became. When you assume your problem is a lack of ideas, you spend all your energy on brainstorming. But if your problem is actually that you're losing the ideas you already have, no amount of brainstorming will ever make the process feel easier. One afternoon, I stopped trying to create content. I just opened dictation mode on my phone. My only goal was to get the noise out of my head so I could think clearly. I started talking about why I was frustrated. I spoke about the deadline pressure, the feeling of not doing enough, and watching others publish while stuck. As I talked, the situation changed. I realized I wasn't empty. I was actually overwhelmed by thoughts, observations, and patterns I hadn't yet processed. Speaking those thoughts out loud cleared the pressure. I was finally able to see the specific insights hidden under all that frustration. This experience showed me that what we call a creative block is often just an oversupply of unorganized thoughts. Once you get them out of your head, the path forward becomes obvious. That one session of speaking out loud provided enough material for me to script an entire long-form video. The transcript wasn't just one single idea, but dozens of smaller insights. I pulled each point into a short-form post for Threads. Grouping related posts became my weekly email draft, and the feedback provided questions for my next video, starting the cycle over. This works because one authentic thought contains multiple layers. When you capture the core, you have all the raw material you need to fill your entire publishing schedule. This realization shifted my focus. I no longer try to manufacture new ideas at a desk. I spend my time building a system to catch the ideas that already occur to me. If you're a verbal thinker, your best insights usually happen when you're doing something else, like when driving, washing the dishes, or out walking. But if you don't record those thoughts the moment they arrive, they're gone. By the time you sit down, the specifics have faded. That stuck feeling at the keyboard isn't a lack of talent. It's just the result of letting your daily observations evaporate because you just didn't have a way to catch them. I solved this by using voice to AI as a net. Now, when a thought appears, I speak it into my phone immediately. My workflow starts with speaking. I talk until the thought is out, and then I use AI to organize that transcript into a structured outline. This approach is much more sustainable. I'm no longer struggling to invent things. I'm just documenting the insights my life is already providing. I've mapped out the exact steps for this voice and AI system, the same one I use to turn lived experiences into content. The goal isn't to think of something new, it's to stop losing what you've already found.